Rebuilding your walls. I talked about in the last video rebuilding your temple. And so after there was the physical temple being built, there was a spiritual restoration in Israel at the time of Ezra. So now, as we move into the book, and this is just general, I'm not going chapter by chapter. This is to get a specific point, but using the general overall message and things that happened in Nehemiah. Please read Nehemiah and see, and be blessed. Be blessed. Nehemiah is about rebuilding the walls. Think about the walls, the peripheral, right? That which, a fort, right? It protects, not to allow the invaders in. And it's you can stand on a wall and look out and see who's out there, right? And so you have the temple rebuilt. You have the spiritual revival, and this could be your spiritual revival, your temple being rebuilt, and now the perimeter. Now, when Nehemiah looked at the walls beaten and tattered and broken down, even though the temple was rebuilt, and he's a contemporary also of Ezra, that the cupbearer, Nehemiah, he sees the broken down walls. Oh, it made him so sad. And then Artaxerxes wondered why his cupbearer was so sad. He asked him, and then, of course, God moved to have this happen. One thing led to another, where Artaxerxes allowed Nehemiah and Ezra working together there to rebuild the walls. And they had incredible opposition. Incredible opposition. Sanballat and all those guys with those long, funny names. Yes, those guys were workers of iniquity. They tried to delay and tear down, and prevent and let this not happen, because they know, as the enemy knows in your life right now, as you've rebuilt your temple and the walls, the perimeter, and you put that hedge of God is around you like that God has, that it's going to be impossible. It is impossible. All the devil can do is try to thwart and hold back. He will never undermine, he will never destroy the works of God, okay? But he will continue. These people are symbolic of the devil trying to prevent things in your life from happening. The walls from being built. The walls, what do walls do? They protect, they fortify, the armor, the strengthening, right? And so these guys harass. And I believe they built this. What they do? They built this thing in like 52 days. Is that what it says? I think it is. 52 days. Can you imagine that? The walls rebuilt. This is unheard of. The enemies knew, as the devil knows, as any of your adversaries know, that when God moves and does and accomplishes things like that, it's an amazing, it could only come from God. And so rebuild your walls, my friend. Have God rebuild your walls today. Taking in again, reading Nehemiah and seeing you having opposition. You will have opposition. I will have opposition. Anytime I want to move into that dimension, I hunger and thirst for God. I want more of God. I want the perimeter in these last days we live in. It's vicious out there, right? I don't have to remind you that as we go in these last days, the devil will pick up his pace even more. Just look around in the world, right? Your walls, rebuild your walls. You rebuild the temple, the center of your worship, who you are, your relationship with God strengthened up, and now the walls, right? The walls, the perimeter. Pray. I pray right now that God Almighty, in Jesus Christ, his name, that your walls would be strengthened, that those adversaries that come against you would be null and void. They would not, the devil, there would be no weapon forged against you that would prosper. And you continue to let God rebuild your walls and stand firm, right? Let nothing move you. Read this book. Stand firm. Expect opposition. And wait on the Lord, and yet move in the Lord with obedience and faith. And rebuild your walls, because these are the last days. These are the last days, my friends, that we must remain strong. So if there's anything that needs to be rebuilt, shored up, strengthened, we can always use that. You can use it. I could use it. Then do it. Obey and do it. And so I pray that you are encouraged, that you are strengthened, and that you examine. Check your own walls. Check where there might be a weak spot here or there. Check where it needs to be shored up, where it needs to be strengthened, and ask God, the deliverer. Ask God, the protector. Ask God, the provider in Jesus Christ, to help you to do that because you hunger and thirst for Him. God bless you, my friend.